Start streaming.
Check
Camera.
1, 2.
Hey,
okay.
There you are. Everything sounds good in Discord. That's good.
Yeah, and I'm not coming from my audio is actually coming from me. It's not coming through you, but that works. Whatever works. It's working.
No, that's fine. I just got to use my audio, and you got to use your as long as through.
All right, let me pull up the old web browser.
Actually, yes. Yeah, it seems to be working. But I had to pause it. It was like doubling up, and I was like, oh.
All right, we're streaming.
Okay. That was you from a few minutes ago. Check. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, it shows you're talking in there. Yeah, I wonder if me and Owl are coming in through YouTube either.
I think you need to refresh the page. I'll try it now.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
All right.
No, it's still playing audio from 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there I go. This is so bizarre. It's like
it is.
It's like being on two different timelines and shit.
Indeed.
Hold on, let me see. Go back to my videos.
Luckily, I already went insane a while ago.
Two different timelines and shit. Let me see if I can. Gotta go to. Are you guys hearing that? So.
No.
All right, good. All right, so this one. Let me delete this. How do I delete this? Let's do private for now. Done. Save. Okay. All right, so I know what I have to do now. In order for me to broadcast through Spreaker, I was going to say Spreaker, YouTube. I have it on. That's fine. Whoa. How did I get a super chat? I got a super chat. Thanks, Spartan.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
What?
I know, right? Dude, Spartan, you're the
Now it
bomb.
says video unavailable. This video is private.
Yeah, I am.
I'm I'm not in here as Mr. All. I'm in here as somebody else. Like that matters. Like I'm important. Jesus Christ.
Mr. Al, you're always important. Don't ever
Oh.
say you're not important.
No, I mean, it's not like I have special privileges or anything. Yeah, it says this video is private. It's like blank.
Well, that's the one that was the old one.
Oh, okay. My
If
bad.
you go back to the page, you'll see there's a
Yeah.
new one that says live now.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, your subscriber base has grown.
If you go back to the
just
to
in
the
the past
page,
like
you'll see there's a new
few
one.
days, like 5 days, dude.
That's nice.
Do you guys know about the 13 o'clock podcast?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, at some point, I think you may want to reach out to some of these, like 13 o'clock, Conspiranormal.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, they have Tom and Jenny on from 13 o'clock. They do like true crime, paranormal and stuff, and it's for the last like 15 days they've had a daily like sanity update thing.
Oh yeah. Well,
And their subscriber base grew. Mind you, I've been listening to them for like 2.5 years.
Well, the gist of tonight was supposed to be anyone who wants to talk and call in. You know, I mean, as long as it's
That's great. Yeah, you should have call-in shows for sure.
Oh,
and,
this is definitely a call-in show. It's just I wanted to get people's opinion on what's happening right now. You know, I want to
absolutely
get it from them. You know, see what are your feelings. You know, because this Facebook is a mess.
To me, then everybody's like calling in and out, and I'm like, But I have some pretty infamous call-ins, but I haven't been part of an online community yet where I really wasn't on the edge of being a troll. Like I respect the people I'm dealing with now; they're nice people.
Right.
Some of the other people I've dealt with before, they're fuckers. I mean, come on. It's like, who are you kidding?
That's a good thing we're on YouTube. Because I don't usually swear on my show. No,
I'm telling you, I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
No problem. Tonight's.
If I've got a heart of gold, I swear.
People can talk shit as much as they want tonight, because that's what it's about.
One of the most successful podcasts I've listened to, it's successful in my heart, and they have grown big. It's almost entirely listener stories. It's called Strange Familiars with Timothy Renner. You've ever heard of Joshua Cutchin?
I have heard of Joshua Cutchin.
Yeah, him and Tim are writing a book right now together, and it's probably going to be 2 volumes. It's just brilliant. They're like exploring. He's really into like Bigfoot in Pennsylvania. Cryptids, and there's these stories popping up of people in bunny suits, just like sitting on a lawn chair by the side of the road, waving at people, popping up at Walmart, hanging out under the highway overpass. And with Easter coming, I expect more stories. But
that doesn't surprise me.
How bizarre is that? That's not a cryptid. That's like, what?
No, I said that doesn't surprise me.
It's creepy as fuck, and it's hilarious at the same time.
It's like clowns. It's like, people seeing clowns and shit.
People
Gigi, you still there?
Bunny costumes. Yeah. But here's another big thing that has just kept popping up for Tim. Stories about Flannel Man.
Flannel Man.
This like lumberjack type character that keeps like turning up.
God, this is good stuff. I haven't heard of any of this stuff.
Oh,
have you?
Yeah, dude. No, I've a lot of people. I've tried to tell people about Strange Familiars. It's absolutely fantastic. But they've got their finger on the pulse of something weird, and he's totally genuine.
Mm-hmm.
He's not out there. He's not trying to BS us and then you get real people calling in, and they're like, now it's gotten to a point where I was gonna tell him my story, but it would take a while, and now he's so inundated with all of these strange stories. I mean, people in bunny costumes, flannel man. God, what is it? There's like this little like furry creature that the Albatwitch. There's an Albatwitch festival in Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, don't think I've heard of that one.
He does the Albatwitch festival he's done it for the past, I think, 3 years. But any draw for a small town, you know what I mean? And then people and families, they get together and they celebrate this weird thing, I mean, it's like the Mothman, which is local. I'm in Columbus.
Okay.
But it's not like I've never been to Point Pleasant. In fact, I know things about Point Pleasant people don't ever mention that go back.
That's Illinois, right?
Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the site of the
West
Silver Bridge
Virginia.
collapse.
Right.
Mothman prophecies.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right on the Ohio River.
It's
pretty
I keep
weird.
thinking Chicago for some reason.
Yeah, because recently Mothman has popped up in Chicago in the past couple of years.
That's one thing I haven't really I haven't done a Mothman show.
I know, but it's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just intriguing. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but it's intriguing. It's fun to listen to.
No, it's awesome. It's
awesome. And in these times,
I
people just need it. Even before, the outbreak, people they're searching, and I'm not going to say it's a distraction necessarily, but it's intriguing and it's fun. And they have a stainless steel statue of the Mothman in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, outside the town square.
Right.
That thing's cool looking, man.
I know. The Mothman's freaky. It's just totally freaky looking.
I've never read the Mothman prophecies, but I probably should.
Because
John Keel was onto something.
Yep. Well, did you hear about this? Have you heard the story about Richard Hoagland? How him and he was talking to Art Bell a long time ago when Art was alive, and Richard Hoagland and someone else, I can't remember who it was. They would call John on no. I don't know if it was on the air. All I know is they would call John Keel, and they would make his voice. Who was the creepy guy that called John Keel? I can't remember his name, but there was a creepy guy that would call John Keel, and he would tell him about all the shit that's going on, Mothman and all kinds of weird shit, and they would act like that guy, and they would talk to John Keel, and he would freak out. And I don't know if they got it on tape or whatever, but
that's unfortunate because I'll tell you what, man, it's quite clear he experienced some, and I've been there, so but damn, that's kind of a dick move, honestly.
It is.
I honestly thought Hoagland was always a fucking NASA consultant. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. So Gigi, what's up with you, man? You're quiet.
Yeah, I'm still puzzled with
you're coming through right now. Good. Just so you know.
Yeah, I have it set up completely different than I usually do. I'm just like trying to figure out why it's working, but I think I'm just overthinking it.
I think it's because I'm part of it. So like we're not talking on Skype right now, so that's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I don't think the Skype is doing anything. I think it's all through here right now. But
Discord. Discord works fine. It's no Skype, but it also doesn't change as frequently as Skype. Updating you right in the middle of a conversation. Skype it's got to be compromised. There's something up with that. I don't. And now Zoom. Zoom was great. We were using it. Like Discord users, we would put in Zoom links and go into rooms and talk on Zoom and whatnot. But now, you've heard about the intrusions, like where people are just like storming into Skype rooms and crashing.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's what's been happening. And
But
there were some school systems that were using Skype, and some of them have just been like, we can't make this work
well, just so
because
people know,
it's not
go ahead.
secure.
So just so people know, we kind of got off to a rough start tonight. Looks like everything's working right now, but this is like an informal show, and
It is.
we are streaming right now on YouTube and Discord at the same time. I got Mr. Owl with me, joining Gigi and I tonight.
Totally uninvited, unintentional.
Well,
I just
it's cool. I mean, it's like, when we do start getting some phone calls or something, perhaps you can mute for a little while and we can get people to
Well,
call
yeah,
in
and keep
talk.
in mind, you'll be able to talk to other Discord users, and they can come into the room. And then
Mhm.
if people show discipline and mute themselves, you can actually have a really decent experience and conversation on Discord. I don't know how they do it, but it works.
So
Yeah, we've done it on a few shows before, and I think it's the future of call-ins for radio shows.
It's cool. And
it's
then
working
you're
really good
talking
right
like,
now.
because this has turned into an informal roundtable,
Right.
Or impromptu.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to
that wasn't
call in right
invited, let's
now,
make that clear.
1-415-891-9083. Again, that number is 1-415-891-9083. And if you don't get through, it's okay. We'll just keep trying. Things are a little different tonight. They're not, everything's kind of set up funky, but it's working. So hopefully it'll work with the phone lines. And the reason why I called this meeting, if you want to call it that, by the way, thanks Michael Jordan and Big Sister and Russ Bailey and Spartan comes through with a $5 super chat. Right on. Appreciate that. The whole reason is because I'm a little fed up with everything that's going on with Facebook, and people are not really getting heard. And I think it's a good time to let people be able to just let it out. And, and also just, have a show. I know everyone's cooped up. I don't get cooped up that much though. I mean, I don't know. Well, Gigi, do you have to stay in at all where you're at?
I mean, technically we're not supposed to leave unless we have business at an essential business, like doctor's office, or you need to get food or something. Like the skate park is closed; they'll kick you out of there if you go in there. I think they're talking about giving you tickets if
That's
if you're messing around. So, there's really not shit to do. Honestly, even when you do go out, like I said, it's just food, and even then you have to get it to go. You can't eat at restaurants or anything. And everything's sort of boring.
That's boring.
Funny, I came across there's this YouTube channel called Company Man, and he talks about like Radio Shack, what happened, blah blah blah, and then he started talking about Cracker Barrel, and I was like, "You're killing me here."
What do you mean talking about it?
The history of Cracker Barrel.
The history.
Gotcha. How they started, where they are today, their global sales, etc. It's very interesting. It's called Company Man. But Cracker Barrel sure does sound good right about now. And I don't know if they're doing takeout or if they're shuttered. Some of the restaurants I've seen that, the parking lot's empty and the lights are off. That's a sobering thing to see.
Yeah, this whole thing has been sobering.
Especially when you're talking about the 24/7 joint that everybody goes to at 3 a.m. when they're, loaded.
Right.
At least I got Jack in a Box. Just kidding.
And man, you should see. If you thought the drive-through lines at In-N-Out Burger were gnarly regularly, now especially.
I know.
I'm not sure we have one of those here, but Columbus, Ohio is the fast food capital of the world. This is where White Castle came from.
Yeah.
Wendy's, It's like the ultimate test market of just like fat ass people that will eat anything. It's too funny. And I actually like went to high school with the granddaughter of the founder of White Castle.
Man.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to name names. She was cute too, but you know.
And here's the thing about White Castle
Funny.
is, people will see like at grocery stores, they've got the frozen White Castle burgers and they have those and make them at home and think that they've had White Castle. No, you have not. You have not had White Castle unless you've
Do you
actually
remember
walked in.
the old commercials where they're like dudes on the jet and he's like bringing White Castles to his brother on the West Coast or whatever? Just
Yeah,
hilarious. You mic them for a few seconds, and they're not too bad, but it's not the same. It won't tear you up quite as badly.
right.
I don't think
And,
I've ever had a authentic White Castle hamburger. I've had the frozen ones. That's all I have had is the frozen ones.
Shame on you.
You don't have
Well,
White Castle?
Not here in Northern California. I haven't seen a White Castle.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in LA,
well,
but
I'm at Ground Zero.
Yeah, I don't even think they have them in LA either. But sometimes, like in Texas, we had this other, mimic White Castle chain called Crystal Burger, and man, that was good too. And they made some crazy burgers too, like miniature Big Macs and like quintuple stacks and all kinds of
Holy
crazy
cow,
sauce.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was
And the
basically
thing
like
about White Castles is they always sound really, really good at the time.
right.
And then the next day you're like, what? Why? Why did I do that? And your car smells like White Castle for the next 2 days.
well, that's wonderful. I could deal with that for sure.
Oh, it's not too bad, but if you're already feeling nauseated, it's kind of like, oh God, what did I do?
Oh well, that depends. Yeah, but yeah,
I know what I did. I ate too much, but I was loaded.
Tore it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The thing that Gigi was talking about earlier about the In and Out here on the West Coast, man, I'm telling you right now, he's right. Like if it was if people were like tripping on the lines back then, whoo, man, you should see the lines now. It is no joke.
Oh.
No joke.
Monumental. Absolutely epic.
I like photo records.
Okay, I live in Columbus, Ohio, but I live in like kind of like an urban suburb called Bexley, and there's a lot of old money here, and our main street has some of the most remarkable restaurants in the entire city. So you're talking, pizza joints and whatnot. But then there's certain restaurants I haven't been to in several weeks that, I walked in and I don't know what's going on with them now. And I worry about it because there's a unique culture here of, you can walk the main street down here and it's beautiful and there's old trees and fancy restaurants and stuff like that. And it's pretty special. I mean, it's known to be like a culinary hotspot here in Central Ohio. But I haven't been down Main Street in a minute. So I wonder. A lot of them have transitioned well. But I'll tell you what, when I went to my Chinese restaurant that I've been going to for 25 years, and mind you, this was 3 weeks ago, you could see how grateful they were. You know what I mean? Because they figured, Chinese flu or whatever they're called, people are called.
That's
and
so.
I was like, I don't care. I've been coming here for 25 years. Are you
so
joking?
Wrong. It's so
no,
wrong.
I went there 2 days ago and got some lo mein and some Warsaw, and it was fantastic. But I'll tell you what, if they go out of business, that's a tragedy, man.
It's really messed up. You could really see the just the bigotry when people start saying, well, I'm not going to go there and I'm not going to get because they're Chinese, and that's really
Chinese. Yeah, they're tiny. You should
It's
the
like,
surprise in their eyes. But then the last time I went there, you know, they know me, and they're like,
so
you
messed
could
up.
tell things were slow. And normally the dining room there is full, and so is the bar.
But at the same time, you know, Alejandro or Cortez, whatever her name is, AOC, that
Oh boy.
politician, she starts spouting off that people need to she was talking about people who were racist because they weren't going to these restaurants, and at the same time it's like yes and no. See, this is why I'm having this show tonight, guys, if you haven't
Yeah.
figured it out yet. There's pros and cons. There's a half and half, you know, especially with this virus thing. It's like I'm hearing so much stuff about this virus is not what people are getting real or are dying from. The COVID-19 is that. This is what I'm hearing. There's two different things going on, and one of them has to do with 5G. The other has to do with just, you know, the coronavirus and how it breaks down your immune system, but it's not what the 5G is doing, which is basically extracting all the oxygen out of your lungs.
Yeah, but we can't
It's
be sure
horrible.
of that at all. We cannot be sure of that. Look, when I made the order to
That's why I'm
Billy
putting
Lee,
it out there. I'm putting it both out
I'll
there.
be honest with you, it never even occurred to me not to do it. I wanted their food, and I ordered it, and then I walked in and I see the surprise in their eyes, and I was like, oh.
Mhm.
There was surprise, but they were grateful, and I was like, man, this is messed up.
It's
It's
horrible.
second nature to me. If I want Chinese food, I'm just going to call them up. I didn't even think about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's sapping us of our baser instincts. It's the fear that's going to kill us ultimately.
Well, okay,
Before
so
the
there's
virus.
being smart and there's being, you know, no, and having no fear. And that's the thing is where do people draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
I don't know, but I mean, how have you been feeling?
So I've been feeling once in a while I'll feel like I get a really bad tickle in my throat.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I can't breathe, and I think it is the fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
because I already get. Go ahead. Who's talking?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say because I already get panic attacks. You know, I have that. Um, what's the other word for panic? Having panic attacks.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. I already have anxiety.
Yeah,
I'm
but now
take.
everyone has it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because well, everyone should have it. Because the other thing too is this does look like the beginning of the new world order finally coming to fruition.
Yeah, that's the word. Finally.
You know, this is it.
And
This
the
is what
anxiety of waiting for 25 years when you knew this was going to happen.
it's like the show I heard the other night on Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
Oh, I love
He had
He's so wonderful.
oh, he's awesome. He had Alana Freeman, who is a
Uh-huh.
wonderful researcher about chemtrails and nanoparticles. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And that's exactly what, you know. And in her words, this is what's happening. Is it's see, and again, I'm going to jump around because
That's
this is
okay.
what I've been trying to do for my show this whole time. Is I want to piece everything together, from chemtrails to Bigfoot. You know, it's like
Yeah, but that's like a grand unified theory of the paranormal. That's what
why
some people.
not?
No, I hear you. And a lot of people. I told you about Tim Renner.
Mm-hmm.
He suspects a lot of this is kind of coming from the same. I'll be interested to see him in Joshua Cutchin's book. It's going to be called where the footprints end or something like that.
So give us
Because
a
like
little background on Joshua Cutchins because I know him on Facebook, but I haven't really got to chat and talk with him yet.
super sharp cat,
Mm-hmm.
very articulate. He is a music major, and he plays the tuba. In fact, he like gives tuba lessons.
Okay.
I believe he's in Wisconsin, which, Big Ten, I'm a Buckeye, so I get it. And he started he started a series of books. One was basically based on I could bring it up, but I won't. It was basically, I think it was called oh God, I'm such a burnout. It was basically based on paranormal
That's how I feel.
smells,
Mm.
and then another one on like paranormal tastes, um, and their relationship to like these paranormal incidents. And the one on smells goes deep into like sulfur and all this other. It's crazy. And this guy's sharp, but he's really into the Fae.
Oh, that's
And
something to see. There's so
yeah,
many things I have not
there's so
covered
many
yet.
things I know.
A little bit here and there, but not like
Because when we're
doing a whole
looking,
show
we're
on
talking
something.
about but then we start to get into Jacques Vallée and the Great Deception.
I think
And
Gigi's done stuff with Jack. Have you done stuff on Jacques Vallée, Gigi?
I'm drawing a blank. Okay, I'm forgetting who that is. The name sounds so familiar, and I'm not remembering.
They say he's the character that in the scientist in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That the scientist in that movie was based on Jacques Vallée, although that is not true from what I understand.
Right.
So
But
he's
it
a
doesn't really matter.
ufologist.
He's a computer scientist. He's been studying UFOs since the early 60s. He came out with a book called, I think it was called The Great Deception or something. Basically, he was saying this thing is wearing a mask and it wants us to think it's a certain thing, and it's not. And I can tell you, it's not. It's not what people think it is. So basically, this taps into the whole theory that started to come out later through people like Jacques Vallée, and Mac Tonnies built on top of it, and posthumously, with the help of some friends, a book was released called the Ultra Terrestrials, where basically we're talking about a companion species that's been with us for time immemorial, but it's kind of been hidden. And then they give us a certain face. That's why it looks like in the 1950s they were in silvery suits. They're flying around in flying saucers. By the 90s, we've got gray aliens, cattle mutilations, bright lights, etc. It meets our expectations. So
I've heard it.
they don't know. I know some things about it that they don't, and I tried to reach out, but whatever. They started to investigate these Kentucky goblins.
Oh, I've heard of them. See, I've heard. That's the thing is I hear about things, but I don't. I guess I should research. I guess I should do more research.
No, you're fine, dude. It's all about exploration and discovering new things.
I know. I'm lazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Russ Bailey, thank you. Because otherwise we wouldn't be doing this.
Russ Bailey, thank you. He comes in with the $9.99 super chat. Right on. I really appreciate that, you guys.
It's something to do with there's all these cave systems underneath like northern Kentucky and southern Ohio, and I've been in them. On one occasion when I think I was about 9 or 10. Myself, my older brother, and the son of my dad went to high school with him. Basically, we grew up together. He knew about these caves, and you could go through this cow pasture and go into the side of the hill. We were underground for 24 hours. And I've seen some pretty weird shit, but nothing terrified me more than my brother, who always carried a little extra weight. We're squeezing through this crack, and he got stuck.
Holy shit.
And there's old stories of men exploring these caves being found later as skeletons.
Right.
Because they got stuck and couldn't get out. He had to strip down, and we were pouring water on top of him so that he could squeeze through. I was terrified. I mean, how do you explain to dad, oh, yeah, my brother's
Lost your brother.
he's in there somewhere. Yeah, he's in there somewhere in this caves, and he's stuck, and that was super scary. We ultimately got out of there and came out. I don't know, like an hour and a half later into this chamber, and the entire and it wasn't even that big. It was like the ceiling was maybe a foot over our heads, and it was covered with these tiny little bats hanging upside down. Dozens of them. And our friend, the guy that took us there and we grew up with, I'll never forget it because then he pulled out a joint. And mind you, I'm 9. I didn't partake in it. Oh, I'm sorry. At that moment, then somebody else showed up. It was another spelunker who was exploring too. So he pulled out a joint, smoked a joint with this guy, and then blew it in the face of this little bat. Because, like I said, there were dozens of them, and it like started vibrating. I'll never forget it. It was so weird. That area is weird, and that was just the beginning. I mean, I'm telling you, I saw things down there years later that I mean, it's hard to put into words, but I guess the point is the whole concept of the ultra terrestrial is, people talk about the Greys and their big eyes and whatnot. What if they're like living underground?
Mm-hmm.
What if they're the Fae? That's what Kutchin thinks. Is that they've been masquerading as maybe not even masquerading, and we put them in that role. And the fairy legends seem to reflect modern day accounts with quote unquote extraterrestrials. That's the gist of it. That's as quickly as I could do it. What do you think?
Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Kutchin, he goes deep into legend and literature, and he really flushes it out, and he makes a compelling case. I think we're talking when they're coming down saying they're from Zeta Reticuli, that they're totally and completely full of it. I'm not buying it. The physics doesn't even confirm that it's possible.
That's okay.
No, I mean, seriously. I mean, as far as we know, according to relativity, it's not terribly feasible.
I don't know enough about that to say yes or no.
Well, let me put it this way. Let's say you were 60 light years away and I wanted to go visit you. By the time I went there at the speed of light and came back here, all of my family would be dead. Their descendants would be dead. Because that's how much time would pass in lieu of my absence. Relativity just kills it. I mean, I love Star Trek and I'll always watch it and enjoy it, but I'm watching it the whole time thinking this doesn't work.
Right. Well, and I've thought of one thing that's interesting to think about when it comes to, the possibility of traveling such vast distances, which even at the speed of light would take forever, right?
Exactly, my point.
Well, but think about this though. I feel like this is possible. Now so let's compare the speed of light with the speed of sound. So sound obviously can only travel as fast as the speed of sound. That's why it's called that. But when we have astronauts up in space, for example, the way they're communicating over the radios, those radio signals are getting to the ears of NASA control way faster than the speed of sound because they've converted sound into this radio signal, whatever signal it is. So essentially, they're able to get sound from point A to point B way faster than the actual speed of sound. So I'm thinking, if they can do that with sound, get sound to travel faster than the speed of sound by compressing it into a different format, what if they can do that with light? Somehow, to where it wouldn't be physically you getting somewhere faster than the speed of light, but maybe some form of representation of you or a glimpse of you or something. You know what I mean?
You mean involving like quantum entanglement?
Yeah, probably. I would
I
imagine.
mean, that would be the only way. Is if, but that entanglement would have to be established first over vast distances. I mean, that's when we're talking about quantum teleportation, instantaneous transfer of information over vast distances,
Well,
etc. And I think I've seen evidence that entanglement is real
oh yeah, for
because
sure.
you can become entangled with like another person, and then
Absolutely.
you're, I mean, the whole thing where the whole trope where the phone rings, and you pick it up, and it was that, etc. I mean,
Right.
that's pretty minor, but
But
maybe
yeah.
it's possible. I don't know, but it would have to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
Otherwise, relativity ruins everything.
Yeah, and I mean, we can go so deep with this conversation.
Oh yeah,
We can go
absolutely.
all over
I
the
didn't mean to
place.
open a can of worms or anything, but that's why I'm
Nah,
just
man.
saying that the great deception is that they're extraterrestrial. It actually is more logical to assume that they are from here.
I really feel that to a great extent. We don't know shit about what is actually inside of the earth. Like, they like to teach us that they know exactly what the earth is made out of, exactly what's down there, but nobody's ever drilled through the crust. We've never seen that. They're basing that when you look into what they base their, quote unquote knowledge of what's inside the earth on, it's based off of very sketchy, like semi-educated guesses at best. We really don't know what's down there. And when you look at some of these ancient megalithic underground cities around the world, the
Oh, thank
level of
God. And
they're
they're
just
finding
as
new ones all
impressive.
the time.
Yeah, they're just as impressive as the pyramids, even more impressive in some cases. And
More
they go
impressive.
so far. We haven't even explored all of them yet. We're talking miles and miles and miles. We found an underground, I should say, have found an underground massive system that goes all the way from England all the way out to around the Göbekli Tepe area.
Exactly. So what was going on?
Yeah, and
Did this happen in a time of cataclysm?
I feel like probably,
You know what I mean? It's puzzling at best. But here's another possibility. When the thought entered my mind that they're from here or whatever, it could mean literally here or another Earth that kind of resides beside our own in the multiverse.
All right, really quick, guys. I'm going to try to open up these phone lines because Tim Ray wants to call in, and
Sure.
Tim Ray,
right. So let's see if the Google Hangouts works. I'm just using all kinds of stuff. What's that?
I just looked at the chat and the YouTube.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone's in the chat. By the way, thanks
That's
a
cool.
lot for coming out. It's a last minute show, but I'm glad you're all here. And,
Big sister wants to know when me and you and her are going to go out to Sedona.
But to Sedona, I still want to go to Las Vegas.
And I'm right. Oh yeah, we need to do that too. And I'm right by Sedona. You let me know when you're going out there. I'll meet you over there.
That's interesting because I think I left my wallet in El Segundo.
I'll make sure to look for it while I'm there.
I keep hearing about El Segundo, but I don't even know where that's at.
It's an old song by Tribe Called Quest.
Indeed.
I'm square. I don't listen to rap.
That was so long ago, Dave.
I know.
Such a square.
I don't want to date myself. But I am a child of the 70s. So.
Me too.
And 80s. See, that was a pretty decent time because not only did I get the best of the 70s, I got the best of the 80s, and then I got into a little bit of the 90s, and then after that it was kind of like, I didn't really like emo very much.
I wish Jen was here, but I know that she's eating dinner. So
okay. Well, maybe she'll join us later. But
she's got a good voice for radio.
Yeah, she came on. Oh, you heard her on the last show.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh.
That was a really trippy story.
She's
sure.
a very, very interesting person.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's a lot more that we can learn from Jen and everyone. This is
Exactly.
why this was actually the intention of my show Beyond the Strange, because I wanted to hear from people. I don't know, did I ever tell you that, Gigi? That was the whole reason why I made the show?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the original slogan too, the radio show for you, the listener.
Exactly. God, he got it down.
To be here either. That's what's so weird. We just started. I barged into the room, my usual drunken self, and was like, "Ah."
Oh, Jen joined us. Right on.
Oh no, she did.
She's listening.
Oh,
it's super quiet. Are you able to turn it up? What? Try turning up your volume, because I know I had to turn up my volume on my phone, and it seems like
there
it's
she
working
is.
fine.
Yeah, and also
take the mute off.
If you right click strange
she
to any one of us, you can turn up our volumes individually. If you right click.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, here we go. I think we got Tim Ray on the phone.
Tim Ray.
Tim, are you there?
Hello.
Tim, are you there, buddy? Tim, can you hear me? Tim, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Hey, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I got a bit of an echo.
Right.
I don't know if that's coming from you or somewhere else.
Ooh, we can't
I have my
hear
headset
Tim,
in. You want me to try to call you back, see if it's better?
No. You're fine.
Hey,
you sound good. I think it's just me.
All right.
Yeah, but this
You
was a
sound
grand
good. I don't hear any
experiment to
feedback.
begin with. So, you guys are trying to fine tune this.
Just a little bit of delay when you answer. That's all.
Oh, yeah, there's kind of a delay. Sorry. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this.
We cannot hear Tim.
You guys can't hear Tim?
Nope.
Really?
Hello?
Oh my gosh. Tim, can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you, Dave. I don't hear anybody else.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can fix this. All right, hang on 1 second. So let me see. That goes to A2. This might be a little tricky. So let me... It's a little tricky.
I get it, man. Trust me.
Just a little tricky. Hold on, let me see. All right, let's try that. All right, can you get... All right, Tim, you there?
Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
Hello, Tim. Okay, now I screwed that
I'm here.
All right. Okay, Tim's back. All right, hold on. I got Tim.
All right, I'm here.
Let me see if I can get this to work on here. All right. Tim, can you hear me still?
Testing. Yeah, I got you. I'm here, loud and clear.
Can you guys hear Tim?
Nope.
Loud and clear. I can't hear anybody else.
But I can tell you right now, if you could patch him so that he's coming through on Skype, then he would be coming through me.
Are you, Dave?
I'm here. I'm talking with Gigi.
Well, you might as well try and do this now.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get.
I can't wait to hear Gigi.
I'll mute it.
No, I'm gonna fix that. Hopefully, I can fix that right now. Let me see if I can patch him in to Gigi. All right, are you there?
Gigi.
Yeah. Okay. This is
G.
This should be working.
All right. Can you hear Gigi? Can you hear Gigi now?
I don't hear Gigi. I don't hear Gigi.
Well, I can hear Tim.
And you still don't hear Gigi.
No, I don't hear Gigi.
Oh, I am. This is not good. Oh man!
You want me to call you right back?
Let me get your number. I got your number. I'll call you back.
All right, call me back.
Sorry about that, Tim.
No, all good.
Actually, you know what? You know what we could do is I could bring him in on the phone from my end, and that way it'll all be coming through.
I should have just had you do the Discord thing. And
in hindsight, yeah. But
damn it.
See, I don't know if I still have Tim's number. Probably do somewhere. Just message at me and his number in Skype, and I'll patch him in.
Okay. Hold on a second. Do you want to do the? Oh man, I'm freaking out. Why do I hear? Oh, I hear myself on you. All right. I think that's good. Okay, cool. Now I can hear you in Discord. You there? Okay, you're there. Can you hear me, Gigi? Cannot. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Hello? Okay. Can you hear me now? Now I'm hearing like double speak. Hold on. Okay. I'm still hearing an echo. It's probably me. Hold on. Okay. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, cool. All right. So do you have Tim's number? Hold on. Don't want to say it over the air. Let's go ahead and hit me up on Skype. Put it in there. That is a good idea. Who's what? What's this? Just had a. I don't think she wants to talk. Hold on. Let me see if I can get I gotta get a hold of Tim. You do know it. I mean, it popped up and now it's gone. That doesn't make sense. I know, this is all good. This is all great. Sound like Tim. Yes. Thank God for Gigi. Fabulous. We're on YouTube. We are. Yep. Yeah, that's kind of why decided to have this spontaneous show tonight. Is like everything that's going on right now. Tim has just it's been crazy, man. You know.
underground tunnels and the caverns and the cities and all this stuff going on. It's all starting to come together. It's all being pieced together, and people are starting to wake up. Business owners are waking up that never really knew what was going on until there's like, this is not right. What's going on? This is a severe flu. Why are we shutting down the world for the severe flu? What's really going on? Because this is all about, we didn't care about the 100,000 people died of seasonal flu every year. They're in hospitals. A lot of them are on ventilators. Why now are we dealing with it? Why now are we worried about it? So it's just people are adding up, and I just think it's a incredible time to be alive to actually see it happening in our lifetime. I know. How do you guys feel about it? I'll
let Gigi go first.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. And as terrible as the disease is, we obviously don't want anybody to get it. We all want to live through it. It's definitely forcing us to, it's a good time for everybody to sort of take a step back, look at everything objectively, remember what's really important, remember what really matters. And also, a lot of folks, they needed a break from the office anyway, just to stay home, reconnect with the family, write that book they never wrote, finish that album they never got finished. It's a good time for all that too. And, it's funny, I was just listening to an old interview with Jason Quitt from last November, and who we're going to have the show on this week. On the show this week, by the way, folks. And he was saying, back in November, I really feel like we all need a cosmic slap in the face to really, sort of shake us up and force us to recenter. And a couple months later, well, here you go. I think it's serving, for all the negatives that are coming along with this, obviously, I think it does serve, I feel like it's something that, it's an experience that the human race as a whole needs to go through. And I think we're going to grow stronger because of it. Not just, on a nation basis, but specifically on a global human race as one species basis. I think it's going to pull us together.
Do you think, Gigi, that's going to happen immediately, or do you think there's going to be some pain involved and some power structures involved, and then eventually maybe get co-opt for that level of what you're referring to? Or do you think we're going to go right into, what do you think we're going to right into higher frequency living, baby, 5D?
Man, yeah, it's happening, but yeah, I think there might be some serious feathers ruffled throughout the process. There's going to need to be some huge monumental changes in the global economy on a global level. I really don't think it's going to go back to the way it was and has been for so long. And I don't think a lot of people have realized yet. They haven't really put together exactly how this is affecting the global economy and the global way of life, the way that we've all been working together. The nations' roles are going to change because of this. People got to put on different hats now that they otherwise wouldn't have had to put on. And we're going to have to work together in ways that we never have before. And some people are going to be digging their heels in the dirt along the process. But eventually, once people accept the fact that we've got to change together, we've got to grow together, I think ultimately, 5D is coming. That 5D frequency, man.
Yeah, something's definitely got to change.
Dave, he sounds so optimistic. I love this man.
Well, the thing is, Tim, is we've been waiting for this moment, right? I mean, literally, whether people are following the conspiracy theories about the New World Order, or the Illuminati taking over. We've heard a lot about the ascension. I mean, you can even go back to the Bible and maybe even call it the tribulation or the rapture. In other words, it almost seems like we're at the end, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that there is a light at the end of this tunnel. And the important thing is we all need to come together and, see what's really happening and expose a lot of these people for what they're doing, to basically, keep us captive. And that's again, that's just my opinion. Really quick, I know this is way, out of left field, but for those of you who love to listen to the Fringe FM, JD Lewis is on right now, and she's kind of talking about this as well. So on the Fringe FM, there is a real talk with JD Lewis right now. Didn't mean to clash shows. I was actually only going to be on here for an hour and then, listen to the show as well. But I'm glad that you're on here, Tim. And yeah, I am optimistic. I really feel that we can get through this. We're going to lose some people along the line, unfortunately. But
Hey,
go ahead.
had anybody ever considered what we would have done if we didn't have the internet during all of this?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's about this point. I agree. I agree with both of you. I think this is optimistic, and I think bringing in I think there's the end game is going to be very positive, optimistic. This is a force, I believe, as we.
Yeah, but we went global,
pressured.
and now we have to go local.
Yeah.
And people don't know what to do. I see it in the whites of their eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's Mr. Al.
Yeah,
it's in the white. It's all in the whites of the eyes. You're right.
I'm like, okay, if I can keep it together, anybody can, but that's not what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about it this way.
The psychological effect of this cannot be underestimated.
We got to be careful, Mr.
PTSD
Al.
will be rampant for a while. Yeah.
There's a little bit of a delay, Mr. Al, so we got to kind of let people talk at the same time. But go ahead,
Sure.
Tim.
All right.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay.
No, I was just saying, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, real quick here is that I believe, as we, of course, we're in this three-dimensional experience, having this reality, right? Some people say illusionary reality, whatever it may be, but if you believe we're spiritual beings having this physical reality for whatever purpose, we're here, we're having it. However, as like you just said, on a global perspective, as we're being squeezed, we're being controlled, we're being handled, our freedoms, our choices, our ability to make our own decisions are being squeezed to the point where we can't go outside anymore for distraction because outside's too ugly for us. It's too scary. It's too much. It's almost a kind of universe bringing us to a point where we're forced, like you guys said, not only forced to go local, but I believe we're being forced to go within. We're being forced to actually slow down, meditate, and say, okay, listen, connect. I am a spiritual being. I'm a powerful, mighty being who could create my own reality. And I think this, by design, let's just say by design, like Greg Braden said, the new human design, that we're in the position where we're being forced to actually go within ourselves because we haven't yet, and so looking from that perspective, it can be a very positive thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, some of us already have.
Right.
I mean, there's very few that were kind of like already in crisis mode. That's why some of these other people, if they can't go get their lotto tickets, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
the preppers are in good positioning.
What the hell are you doing, man? I just want some beers.
And you can take that aspect too. But have
you guys heard about the potential alien intervention at all during this crisis? Anybody hear anything on level that where perhaps the internet is being shut down and for whatever period of time, and it's actually for a good reason rather than a bad reason? Is that something that's going around at all?
I'm hearing all kinds of stuff.
Tell you what, I know they're just waiting. They're not going to intervene.
Okay. They're waiting for us to raise frequency.
Ecosystem collapse. And would we even accept their help?
Right.
Well, here's the thing. The thing that really prompted me to do this show tonight, guys, is the fact that I'm seeing a lot of stuff on TV right now, especially with commercials, that are trying to put more brainwashing into our heads, calling this, our situation right now, the new normal. I don't know if anyone saw my post, but I mean, this is YouTube, so I can say it. I'm like, fuck that. This is not the new normal. This is not the new normal, you know, and I don't really curse that much. If you guys heard my show, I don't really curse. I'm doing it on YouTube right now because it's YouTube. But even in you know, face to face, I really don't curse that much. But this has me outraged. An Allstate commercial talks about how we're in these desperate times and blah, 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 blah. This is the new normal. And it's like, what? You're really going to say that? You're really going to call this the new normal and we're going to have to conform to this? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I listen, Dave. That who was talking that, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, that you're repeating over and over enough, and people like Bruce Lipton will tell you, you don't want to change somebody's beliefs, just repeat it enough, right? And you're hearing it every day, and you know you're hearing Bill Gates say, "Hey guys, we're not going to have any mass gatherings until we have mass, you know, vaccination. We're not going to, you know, this is going to be normal. We're going to have to get social distancing. We're going to have all this type of new experiences." And it's a conditioning, you know. And if I didn't, and if we all didn't realize the human mind is often very docile and feeble, in the sense that it's, you know, where no one's in charge. Our subconscious minds are in charge. They're the bosses of everybody. And so you keep hearing that over again, and we incorporate it into our subconscious, unconscious mind. We will accept this is the new normal, and we will, as a Stockholm syndrome experience, not perhaps the people on this phone call, but I'm talking about billions of people in this world who are already adopting this and have already conditioned themselves, at least in the last 30 days, that this they'll be okay with this being the new normal because they're just surviving on an unconscious level. So it's kind of scary in a way where you hear that commercial say, you know, this is the new normal, because people hear that over and over again and they're like, oh, well, maybe it is, and that's accepted. So people are not challenging this, and they'll incorporate this. And this is where people like you guys on radio need to, you know, speak up and say, hey guys, we create our own reality. We're powerful, mighty spiritual beings. We are not subjected. We don't have to give our choice over and our free will over to unknown powers that be, who are in charge of this three-dimensional world we live in. We could claim that back and create the reality we want. And I think that's where a lot of the people out there, hopefully, who are not being the robotic programmer going into the Stockholm moment, and who are waking up and realizing, wow, maybe this is something new. And I'm seeing business owners, I'm seeing individuals that I thought would never wake up to a potential worldwide conspiracy or the New World Order or whatever the reality, aliens, are actually entertaining it more than ever before. So that gives me hope.
Yeah, exactly. We got a caller on the line actually right now, and let's see. Oh, they just hung up. Darn it. Well, whoever that was, call. Oh, here they go. They're calling back again.
Maybe we should try to look forward to the 4th of July, if nothing else.
Yeah, Dave, it's Michael Jordan.
Hey, Michael Jordan's on the line. How's it going, Mike?
Yeah, it's going good. I've been listening to your show, and I don't feel millions of people are starting to accept that this is a new norm. I went out to Walmart today, and there's one near me at the superstore. And you get to the water, because I've got to get bottled water where I live. I don't have good well water. And so I asked him, there's no sign up. I said, how many gallons can you get? And the guy looks at it, comes over, looks at it. You know what? There's no sign. Get as much as you want. So I got 8 gallons. Get up to the register. And he goes, oh, you can only have 4 gallons. I said, well, the guy said there's no sign back there. I said I could have 8. And I found out I'm good at being with rhetoric. So I'm sitting there talking to her. She says, you know what? I'm so sick of having to do this. Just go ahead and take the 8 gallons. I'm not even going to look. Just take it. So I was ringing it up and we were talking about stuff. And I'm finding that, because I go into a Walmart, I wait till I get a crowd of people around me, and I start asking if they've heard of anybody that's got the coronavirus. And every single person will say, no, I heard, but I don't know anybody in particular that has gotten it. It's like, okay. And I start talking about stuff, shots, whatever. Just start blabbing. And as I was talking to her, and I started realizing these people are not hired to police the products going out the front door. They don't want to be doing this. And then my impression of everything going on is people are just getting sick of it, because half of them have a mask, half of them don't. Some of them come in large groups together, very close together, and they stay close together in aisleways. If it's a couple, they're very close together. People aren't, doing the 6-foot thing, and I don't see anybody getting sick. So my opinion is, I think there's a big scare tactic with all this stuff going on, but the severity of this coronavirus or the flu, I don't think it's as severe as they say it is. Because, they're adding, we had all these people die, but statistically speaking, it's no more than what we normally have pass away or die from something. So the number really hasn't gone up.
Well, okay, so from what I'm understanding, guys, and you guys can, tell me if I'm wrong or not, but what I'm hearing is that there's two different things happening. We have a coronavirus out there, but the thing is, the people who are dying are not necessarily dying of the COVID-19 virus. That the tests that are out there to test this whole thing is just for the coronavirus. So being that, the flu is a coronavirus, the common cold's a coronavirus, all that kind of stuff, that's what I'm getting is that when people are dying, they're just chalking it up as a coronavirus. The COVID-19.
The CDC's actually telling people to do that, the coroners and everyone else. In fact, I just did an interview with Del Bigtree. He's a pretty, up to date on what's going on not only with vaccines, but especially now with the coronavirus. And we went over the specifics of what's going on, and these numbers just don't add up. In fact, you're finding out that when they say, every morning, people who are just stuck to these pharmaceutical TV shows every morning, right, are hearing the death rate, are hearing how many more people got coronavirus. All they're doing is the majority of people, they're finding out right now, even England said that probably 50% of the people had the coronavirus back in October, November, December, January. So, so all they're doing is when they're getting tested, now we're starting to test, right? So when they're testing people, they're testing that they have the coronavirus or have the antibodies now for it, right? And so, oh my God, they have the coronavirus. So when their news is sharing, 5 more people got coronavirus in this area here, well, it's because they tested it and they already had it, and they had it. And I believe I had it already back in January. I had a cough.
If you go down to Charlottesville, Virginia, they're nuts. They are pretty nuts down there.
Hold on, guys. We got 5 people talking at the same time. Mike, go ahead and say what you're saying real quick.
Okay. But I went down to Charlottesville, Virginia, and they're just being nuts about how they're handling it. They're overreacting to everything. You come up where I live, people are just being normal. They're hanging out together, talking. I mean, it's like nothing's really changed other than some people have, the surgical masks on and some don't. And that's about it. And they're hanging out together, and it's like there's no fear. When I talk to them, though, you can see that they're not believing what they're being told. It's just in their eyes. You talk to them, it's like, they're not buying it. So I think
it's probably directly proportional to who watches mainstream
media. People are just going to get tired of it and kind of move on, regardless of what the government says, and keep doing what they're doing. I think that's where the change is going to come. Some people are going to buy into it and they're going to go that way, but I just have a funny feeling it's going to be a large group of people that take the high road.
Yeah, that's very well. Could be happening right now. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate your call.
Okay.
I really do, and we'll talk offline.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
So Dave, that's what's going to have to happen. People are going to have to wake up and look at to realize, okay, our world economy is being crashed purposefully. At least whether this was a biochemical weapon they used, or if it was something that was just accidentally got loose, or whatever it may be, or just a coronavirus, whatever they believe. It doesn't really matter at this point, because there is, I believe, certain people are getting sick, and there is definitely a respiratory affection that affects the breathing more so than the typical seasonal flu. But bottom line is, death rates are still at the flu rates, what we normally have every year. And for the last decade, we never shut down the world when somebody had the flu, or the hundreds of thousands of people each year die of the flu. We never wore masks. We never wore gloves. they were okay with everybody getting sick. When you get the flu in the house, everybody gets the flu, or whatever it may be. You just deal with it, and you go through the process. You build the antibodies. You move on. We never done these type of draconian laws and these draconian measures ever before the history of our world, really. And this is the point now where people are going to have to say, you know what? If we want this economy to destroy it and we want to do something new, then so be it. But people are, I think, going to have to wake up and find their own gonads and say, hey, enough's enough. No more stripping of our individual rights, our Constitution, whatever it may be, that's still left. People are going to have to speak up, and they're going to say, hey, I want to go back to work. But right now, less of a mandate, everybody's in their homes, everyone's allowing it to happen. they're just going to take every much of freedom away from us because no one's speaking up and mandating anything different.
Mr. Ali, you had something that you wanted to say earlier, and yeah, Tim, I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
Mr. Ali, you there? I think we lost Mr. Ali. Anyways, Gigi, you have anything to add to that?
Not much. I mean, other than just on a more simplified level of looking at everything that's happening right now, it just seems very clear to me. The more and more you look into it, the more and more you look at different conspiratorial angles, the more different scientists you hear talking about what the virus is, how it could have formed. Couple things are clear. One, it really does seem like, whether it was intentionally released or not, that this is a man-made virus, which is scary enough to think about. But then for two, there's just so much fuckery surrounding the whole situation. Things just aren't adding up. There's clearly something else on the agenda. There's some sort of hidden agenda going along here, or at the very least, quote unquote, they are at least taking advantage of this opportunity to, forego whatever's on their agenda. There's some fuckery going on right now, and it's being able to go on because of this, in some aspects, blown out of proportion pandemic.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Chicanery.
Chicanery, I love it.
Don't believe the hype. 5G, ibuprofen, coronavirus. Come on, guys. Let's be objective here.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I hate to say fake news, but I need proof.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry. People are losing their heads. And if I can keep mine, anybody can, I assure you.
Well, critical thinking is lost. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's just disappeared. But people are just so, like, they're publics. They're running the arrows down the road. They got glass splashes now for the people at the counter. That case somebody's, like, that little area is gonna, like, the Pope is gonna stop them from getting sneezed on. They're limiting, to 2 items now each. You can't buy 3 pieces of pizza if you have a family of 7. You can only buy 2 pieces of pizza. It's getting to the point where people are just being so corralled into believing that this is what we have to do for really if this is not a pandemic. 1%. If this is a pandemic, then the seasonal flu every year for the last decades has been a pandemic.
Absolutely.
So something
subjectivity.
This is wrong on every level.
That's the truth, and the numbers back up what you're saying.
Absolutely, but not if you watch the mainstream media. You watch Fox News.
I see the numbers coming out of China. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally bullshit, dude. And I'm sorry, but they are. If we're having,
it's like Tim said,
if what we're seeing in the U.S. is the result of accurate reporting, and let's face it, we probably have a better healthcare system, and we're not under a dictatorship that is in control of the flow of information. The disparity is so obvious. It's no wonder.
First of all,
the Trump administration is kind of like, guys, really?
First of all, check it out. First of all, who controls? Okay, first of all, who controls the mainstream media? The FCC. Who are the FCC? They're the freaking government.
I know, but
right there,
I mean, seriously,
right fucking there. Mainstream media is being dictated.
1999, before the internet was huge.
Right. But do you see what I'm saying? Is this shit's been fucking dictated since
on our music, and now they've totally lost control.
I'm just totally.
There's no way to put a. I mean, are they listening to us now?
I don't care. I hope they are. Yeah. I really do.
Well,
by the way, Spartan
they have that. They have technology now that actually could find people who are grouping together via their cell phones. They could find a group of 15, 30 people all together, and they could send police out there just by tracking cell phones of how many cell phones are together all of a sudden.
That's paranoia.
But that's what the technology they have today.
If they have the technology, that doesn't mean they're not doing it.
I mean, seriously. Living in fear is no way to live.
Well, no,
And
and
once
that's what we're here to do is dispel the fear. You know, I mean, Tim's totally right when you got to come in. You definitely got to seek within yourselves. I'm just paraphrasing Tim. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta get something out of us to basically believe in. I mean, it used to be religion, used to be Christianity, used to be a lot of these things, but the
want to know
times
what
have
it is
changed.
that we should believe in? It's called truth.
Exactly. That's what we're all looking for.
It's
That's what
just
we're
that
all looking
simple.
for. You know, but the problem is
You know,
the truth is being
It's
perverted.
and no, I'm not saying I'm not full of shit. I'm just saying I'm a slave to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I try
Well,
to be
that's what we look
objective.
for.
But it's very difficult.
Yeah, it's what we look for. But go ahead, Tim. Before I go ahead and call this.
Well, adding that was Gigi who was saying that. I'd add to that too is that truth, of course, is each of our own individual experience, and we all have our perspective of the truth, of the giant prism. We all look at it from one angle, and do we ever see the full prism truth? No. I mean, that's something that only collective could appreciate, that, or source, or whatever you want to define it. But our truth can often be in line with each other's truths. Like perhaps our three truths right here, or whoever's on the line with us, are probably a little more in sync than perhaps somebody who is calling their neighbor because they have too many people over their house, the hotline to have the police break up. They're not doing social distancing truth. So it just depends on where we are on that. But I agree with you what you're saying. But for me, the biggest point right now with what's going on, for the people who are more in the know, like yourselves, of what's going on, it's not enough to be brave anymore or just courage. It's time to be braver. And I really think that when you realize that there's no death, there is just transition. Energy can't be destroyed, created, right? Only transferred. And you really hold on to that. And you're not that person who's cowering right now in their basement, scared to death to go outside of getting a little more severe seasonal flu, depending on your immune system. If you really do believe in a higher power and you believe you're fine, and whether it's Jesus or it's whatever your spiritual belief is, then you can walk the shadows, right, and not worry about dying, because you have to bring that belief back into your life again, and to live it, not just think it or go to church once a week and think that. You have to believe that you are a mighty powerful being. You are of the collective. You are you have the essence of God that's put into you. Like Jesus said, we do much more than he's ever done. And when we realize and wake up to this power that we have, the fear goes away. The fear drops off the board, like you guys are saying. But we got to take actions towards that. And when you hear about all this paranoia of surveillance and the technology and how they could track you down, like all the cell phones, all this, or the police coming down the road and asking you in an unmarked car these days, hey, are you test positive? Whatever the case may be, we got to face that with the sense of strength, of courage, that everything's going to be okay because I'm okay, and we do create our reality and co-create our reality. And I think if we hold on to that, if we learn anything alone or isolated right now, focus on that, and then go out into the world and say, no, you know what? Instead of me going along with the memes, stay home, save lives, how about let's go back to work, or let's move forward and let's create a better world here. Let's get out. Let's connect with each other. I give hugs or whatever it may be. Let's not allow the social distancing to disconnect us from humanity, and to focus in that direction more so now than ever before. We need the courageous people to step up and move forward in that, even though in doubt, still move forward and realize that we will be safe no matter what, because there is no death.
Right. Yeah, and
they can destroy our bodies, but they can't destroy our spirits.
Amen to that.
You want to jump in there, Gigi, and get the last word before we call it quits?
Well, and just with everything Tim just said right there, when it comes to implementing that state of mind into life and creating your reality, two people that Tim mentioned earlier are some of the best ways to get into that line of thinking. Bruce Lipton and all of his work with epigenetics and Greg Braden. Man, those are two of the most amazing people on the planet, and highly encourage everyone to go look up their books and their work and their lectures. You can find it everywhere. Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden, ladies and gentlemen.
Very awesome. Hey guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on last minute. Mr. Owl, thanks for hanging out. Gigi, like always, and Tim Ray, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it was last minute, and I want to extend an invite to a full show with you sometime down in the near future.
Let me know, Dave. I'm there, man.
And I'll make sure everything's
here watching
done
the wheels
right.
go round and round. That's all.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you, guys.
Right on. All right, you guys. Well, let's get out of here because I got to eat. I ain't gonna lie. I got dinner on the table. So you guys have a great night. Thanks again, everyone, for coming out, listening on Discord, listening on YouTube, and again, go over to the Fringe right now. You can hear JD Lewis, Real Talk with JD Lewis, right on the Fringe FM. And you guys have a great night. Thanks again. Peace, everyone.